What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk, Fatima LaFawn of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for tuning in this morning. Lions Talk Live Morning Show Edition, Tuesday, the day after Monday Night Football, just days away from the Lions returning to the field and getting onto the big rematch that we're all probably anticipating, waiting a year for with the Dallas Cowboys. But we do want to get into a couple stuff, as you can tell from the thumbnail for this video. Hey, there's a little bit of a rooting guide if you're a Detroit Lions fan. Even if you're rooting against the NFC North or just the NFC overall, you're rooting for the Lions to win. We also probably need to start paying attention to some possibilities for teams to be falling down on their face, not getting victories, so it helps out perhaps with the potential trades that could happen as we edge closer to the trade deadline. Yes, I do believe there is further evidence that this might just be a unique year. As we've talked about the last few seasons, Brad Holmes has admittedly come out and told reporters he's kicked the tires on potentially trying to acquire some players. He also comes from the LA Rams. Let's not make any mistakes about that. The Rams, who hit a window of time when they just said skip the picks, we're all in on this season. I think there's some evidence that perhaps Brad Holmes, I'm not going to say he's going to trade 27 first-round picks for Max Crosby or something like that, but he might be looking at making some deals, and we're going to dive into that into today's show. Before we do, though, you guys all know, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We are 21 subs away from hitting, 8,100. So if you can help out with that, that'd be great. Again, we need 21 more subs to hit the magical 8,100 mark. Also, if you would be so kind, it is free of charge and takes nothing more than a half second for you to reach on down, hit that thumbs up button, that like button. You guys all know it helps the channel exponentially. So if you would be so kind, please consider doing both. Also, last but not least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, or it can be anywhere in the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call. Shoot me a text. You see my number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Let's have a conversation, see what I can do to help you either buy the property, a commercial building, whatever it is. Maybe you're looking for something for your business. Maybe you're looking for a new home. Maybe you just want some vacant land to hang out with Moonscar Blade while he goes hunting, or Hatman or something like that. Go ahead and give me a call. Shoot me a text. We'll have that conversation. All right, with all those formalities out of the way, let's get into the first segment of the day, and that is 5 headlines now. All right, 5 headlines now. Let's get rolling with them. 2 key Detroit Lions return to practice on Monday. SB Nation story by Jeremy Risman. So you guys may or may not be aware, MCDC talked about it at his presser yesterday, and Brian Branch and Frank Ragnow both returned to practice on a limited basis with Frank the Tank, but it does look like he is trending towards playing this upcoming weekend. Brian Branch, we've been talking about it for some time. Not a real big surprise here that he was going to return to playing this week. You know, as we all know, he cleared the protocols with the concussions, had no issues, and then literally just 24 hours before the Monday Night Football game, he came down with the illness. The team said, all right, we're going to rush you. And you know what? It paid off. So not only did he get 2 weeks to recover, or a little bit longer, that I guess will be closer to 3 weeks to recover from the concussion, but now he's good with the illness. Frank Ragnow, we've been speculating on this show for some time that Ragnow's probably played with that pec injury longer than really truly known. He played throughout the Arizona Cardinals game with the injury, and it's my guess, just basing it on film how he's performed, he probably actually damaged the pack to some degree or level against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My guess is he's going to be right and good to go from here on out. We'll wait and see, though, because if the medical staff says we should give him another week or so, that's probably what the team's going to do, especially with as well as Graham Glasgow played at center. Even though the PFF grades weren't the greatest, I thought he had his best game of the season. So, all right, moving on from that. Lions shuffle up their practice squad coming out of the bye week. USA Today story by Jeff Risman. So we kind of touched on this quickly yesterday with the news that Derek Barnes more than likely gone for the season. But the Lions did make some moves. Detroit added edge Alaquan Muhammad and linebacker Cam Gill to the practice squad on Monday. Both guys ascended up to the practice squad, but that also meant the Lions let go of a couple people and added a couple other people from the practice squad to the 53-man roster. So Gill fits more as a Sam backer. He's 26 years old, played 3 seasons with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, also spent time with the Carolina Panthers. So I get it. With the Sam backer position now a little depleted with Barnes more than likely out for the season, this makes a lot of sense, I would say. So Lions, like I said, let go of a couple guys. Safety Eric Hollick and kicker Matthew McCain were let go from the practice squad. Neither players had ever been elevated to the Detroit Lions roster. So kudos to them. Thanks for their time here in Detroit. But yes, the Lions are moving on from those individuals. All right, next on the 5 headlines now. 3 things to know about the Cowboys Lions, including a wild finish to the latest showdown. This is from the Dallas Morning News. So I went behind enemy lines, tried to see what some of the Dallas reporters were talking about this game. They actually do a pretty good job with this article. They talk about, hey, they understand Dallas is in a must-win situation to keep up in the NFC race, just like the Detroit Lions are as well. Everybody right now is chasing the Minnesota Vikings, and let's make no mistakes about it. As the Dallas Morning News talks about, that's what the NFL wants. They want everybody to play. That's why you have first place teams playing first place teams, third place teams playing third place teams, because they want every team to be as relevant as long into the season as they can. This is a business. Make no mistake about it. They're making business decisions, and right now those business decisions have led the Cowboys and Lions to both be in a position to chase the Vikings. They know that also the way the game finished last year, the Lions are going to come in red hot, inspired beyond belief to come out and win this game. And they're also doing an analyzation of how MCDC has evolved as a coach. The Lions' rushing attack is probably going to be one of the toughest things they've had to stop all year. They understand that the Lions offense is going to force the Dallas defense into some bad situations. You all know it. I all know it. The Cowboys' run defense is not great by any stretch of the imagination. They're more than likely going to have to play the majority of the game with 8 guys in the box in the effort to stop the Lions' offense from running the ball left and right. What does that do? That opens up a whole lot of play action pass, and the Cowboys here and their fan base are talking about it. The fact that Jameson Williams is probably going to be left on the island a lot, one-on-one coverage. You're also going to get some of that with Sam Laporta and St. Brown. This could be a huge game for the Detroit Lions offense. All right, Detroit Lions predicted to land 2-time Pro Bowler to beef up the pass rush. Sporting News, story by Mike Moranis. Man, we can't get away from this one. If you're like, Dan, who is this 2-time Pro Bowler? Who is it that these guys keep talking about? You probably already know Hassan Reddick is the topic of this article, and it doesn't seem like you can go anywhere online without finding the Lions being in some sort of trade talks for Reddick. Reddick, I get it. Yeah, he'd come in. He would be a big addition to the team. And I don't remember who it was on the comment section. Apologies. But they've got a little bit more information than I did on it. They've pointed out that Reddick is only holding out because the Jets promised him a new contract with certain details and layers to it. They have not fulfilled that promise. And because of that, Hassan Reddick saying, yeah, if you're doing that to me, you promised me one thing, you delivered on nothing. You know what? I don't want to play for you. And to be fair, as a coach or a former general manager, I can understand that. If I talk to you about giving you a deal and then pulled that deal out for me and said, nah, I've kind of changed my mind, it's not a good look. I don't care if it's at the college level or the professional level. You make a promise to a player and athlete, and then you pull that out, you back out of it, it's not a good thing, and I would get Reddick's stance on that point. All right, Detroit Lions are 3.5-point favorites against Cowboys. Sports Illustrated, story by John Macaron. And hey, this is a big thing. You're favored by nearly 4 points on the road, and in Jerry's world, man, Vegas is saying we're putting all of our chips in the middle of the table on the Lions to win this game. I've often said this about Vegas. Those casinos and everything aren't built on losses. They're built on wins. And they're saying that they're taking the Lions in a big way here. I don't know a ton about betting. Anybody who's watched this show knows that, but I do know enough to say this. You're giving the visiting team nearly 4 points. You think the visiting team is going to win and probably win fairly convincingly. All right, with all that out of the way, that's going to end 5 headlines now. Let's go ahead and get over to the main topic of the day, which I'm guessing you're all waiting for, and let's do it now. It must be the peanut butter I ate this morning, but man, I feel like I got some energy today, whatever it is. All right. So main topic of the day, as you guys can tell from the thumbnail for this video, there is growing word and speculation about the Lions being involved in a potential trade. Now, we just talked about Hassan Reddick, but is there more options? And yes, you could see from there the Hendrickson from the Bengals is in that list as well. Now, I think there is growing possibilities for that to happen, because I do think the Bengals are in a tough spot when it comes to winning. I think they are just a couple losses away from really probably being in a spot we've talked about before on the show where they might have to say, hey, we need to blow this up and just get re-going with it, or just try to rebuild. If I'm Brad Holmes, I guess the other part of it is I look at the Bengals schedule. All right, Sunday they got the Giants, and while they probably once upon a time said, man, that's going to be a win, do we really still look at it as a win now? After that, man, you got the Cleveland Browns, and I want to say this, I probably should have put it in the thumbnail today. I think the Browns lose that game to the Bengals, and plus whoever they play this week, the Browns might be in, hey, we've got to try to do something we can here to just reset things. And I have one long time, I'm talking like 30, maybe 40 years, friend of mine who's covered the Cleveland Browns for the Plain Dealer, and he's saying the same thing. There are growing rumors in Cleveland about them hitting the reset button, that Deshaun Watson, obviously this has been a complete nightmare for the Browns and everybody who's involved in that trade, plus that $250 million contract that was fully guaranteed, probably, wishes they didn't pull that trigger on that one. But the Browns would be another team who has some parts. They're probably going to be moving on from them if this continues. So we should probably Scooby-Doo as the Do Crew. Who's over there? I get everybody's going to say Myles Garrett, but I don't know if that's achievable. Beyond that, we'll have to wait and see. But, okay, getting back to the Bengals. So you got the Giants, you got the Browns, then you got the Eagles, then you got the Raiders, then you got the Ravens, then you got the Chargers. I can see them, to be honest, I can see them losing all of them or maybe only winning one of those games. You get to that point, you're at the trade deadline. I think there's high probability that the Cincinnati Bengals are looking to move on from a couple different guys, not just one or two. And no, it won't be the quarterback position. Not that that would be a thing for the Detroit Lions. But with that being said, Trey Hendrickson, he's going to be on the chopping block. I'm going to guarantee that he will be. They'll be open to offers and overtures for him. What's it take to get him? I also believe that, yes, as I've already mentioned, I think this is the year where, hey, Brad Holmes has been kicking the tires the last 2 years. The line's been relevant. He's been like, should I go for this guy, that guy? I think this is the year he does do something. Why? Because he does come from L.A. He does come from the Rams. And one simple thing is true in sports. There's never a guarantee. If you feel this is the team here, this year and next year, that can really make a push to get the Super Bowl, let alone potentially win it, then you know what? You're not worried about 5 years from now. You're not worried about 4 years from now. You're worried about this year. Get there. Because, as you can see from the NFC North, it's only getting tougher. You look at the Chicago Bears, they're, for the most part, a very young team. They do have some older parts that probably aren't going to be around in 2 or 3 years. But for the most part, they've got some good young talent. You look at the Minnesota Vikings, ditto, same thing. They've got some good young talent. They've got some older parts, but I guess you could say that about every team. The Green Bay Packers might not have a lot of older parts, but they've got some real good young parts. So are you going to gamble that, hey, we're just going to try to stay relevant every year? Or you're going to say, you know what? I have enough belief in the scouting department here for the Detroit Lions where if I move on from my first round pick or second round pick this year, and maybe I trade those for what I think is a home run pick for this defense or this team or whatever aspect of the team they go for, I do that to bring in that guy now. That gets me through a 2 to 3 year window with that particular player, at the least 2 to 3 years. Beyond that, when I get that first and second round pick from whatever team, I'm getting back, a first and second round pick from that team. I'm getting back a 6th and 7th round pick from them. So you know what? I'm going to have full faith in my scouting department that we're going to be able to go out and correctly identify a couple guys in those late rounds that we can add to the team, save some costs, and still keep some youth movement. I want to hear what you guys are going to say about it, but you're also going to ask, I know somebody's going to ask, who is the other guy in the picture? You got, obviously, Trey Hendrickson, but the other guy, in case you're wondering, is Shaq Lawson. Why am I bringing this up? He's scheduled to come in and visit the Detroit Lions this week. Now, some of you guys probably don't remember who he is. He's not incredibly old by any stretch of the imagination. I want to say he's 26 years old, something like that. But at any rate, he's got 26 sacks in his career. He's played for, well, you're going to test my memory here. I know the Buffalo Bills. I want to say a couple times with Buffalo Bills, the Jets, Dolphins, and Texans. He can get to the quarterback. He is pretty good against the run, but, his play has been a little sporadic. He's had some seasons where he's looked great. He's had some other seasons where he's been kind of meh. So the Lions are going to bring him in. It's obviously not a signing, but we've all talked about adding a little bit more depth on the defensive line and a pass rusher. Shaq Lawson is that guy. He can get to the quarterback. Whether or not it's more of a rotational piece, that's probably what I would anticipate if they sign him. But I want to say he was over with the Bears yesterday. That sounds right. Maybe I'm wrong, but he was with some team yesterday, did not sign with said team, and he is going to come in and visit the Lions this week. So could that be a potential option? Could it be Budda Baker? Hey, Budda Baker, I know a lot of people are saying, why Budda Baker? Well, like we talked about when we broke the news about Brad Holmes talking with the Cardinals about it, it's because the Lions were viewing him as the Sam backer, not as a safety. They were viewing him as a Sam linebacker who could, one, cover anybody coming out of the backfield or tight end or wide receiver 3 or 4 or whatever, but he could also blitz the quarterback, shoot the gaps on run plays. Let's face it, he would give you a ton of flexibility on that defense. You could play man-to-man and not really ever have to pull out your linebackers, even though we get it, he's a safety who would play linebacker in Detroit. He would be a home run, wreck, havoc bringing type of player to the Lions D. Yes, Trey Hendrickson would be a big plus to that defensive line, get to the quarterback, stop the run, be a massive win. Does Brad Holmes make the moves happen? Does he pull the trigger? Does Shaq Lawson come here? Is there somebody else the Lions go after? And yes, I know we're all going to say, hey, Dollar General Brad doesn't make these type of moves. But I would counter and say, look at the last 2 years into the trade deadline. He has attempted to get Montez Sweat, Josh Allen, the defensive end, not the quarterback, amongst other players to Detroit. The problem is they were just not able to pull off enough leverage over the other team to say, hey, take this offer, we'll get that guy, whatever. Somebody outbid them basically every time. This is the year, though, where I think it might be different for the Lions and Brad Holmes. This is the year where I think he does lean a little bit more towards that table and side saying, hey, we're going to skip these picks. We're going to go after these guys. We're going to give up some of our high-round picks, but you're going to give us some low-round picks. All right, Duke Crew, I think we got about 12 minutes until Anthony from Roar Lions UK hops on over, so let's go over and see what you guys have to say. I think we're going to have a lot of talks going into the trade deadline because I do believe this is the year Brad Holmes is going to lean towards making a move. What say you? JDC, good morning all. Good morning to you too, my friend. Jason Green, salutations from Playa del Carmen. Let's give Dan something to taco about. Yes, indeed. I see what you did there. Superdome or bust. I like the way you're thinking, and hopefully you're having a good time down there, Jason. Hoodskar, good morning, Duke Crew, starting 11. So you're saying there's a chance of the deal? Question mark, exclamation point. I am saying there's more and more chatter coming out of Detroit about the Lions, actually, Brad Holmes being on board with potentially looking at players. And again, can't say anything in particular because at this point, other than the Budda Baker news and the Shaq Lawson, who's you don't have to trade for him, other than those two topics, there isn't anything specific. But I think, man, if you could somehow get Budda Baker and Trey Hendrickson or somebody sound at the defensive line spot, man, this defense might be the number one defense in the league. Budda Baker would be an absolute dream to me because all the flexibility Aaron Glenn and that defense now have on any down. You could play him, hey, hey, every 3 downs he's out on the field, or 4 downs if they go for it on 4th down. All right, JDC, here in the Yoop, chilly today, hot tamale. All right, well, enjoy it, my friend. I know it's pretty cold here. I actually had to close the window for a change. Robert, greetings and salutations, Dan and crew. Milton is headed this way. Looks like a direct hit. Yeah, and thoughts and prayers to everybody in Florida. Robert, I know you're down there, so hey, just be safe, get out of the way, do whatever you can. I know I've talked to all my friends and family are down there, and they're all staying. One friend said, hey, my house is made out of concrete. Whatever he said about the roof, he's going to go ride it through. And I've just thoughts and prayers, man. Thoughts and prayers for Florida, because 2 hurricanes in, 2 weeks? Eesh. Ay, caramba. All right, Johnny L., prayers for Florida. I concur. Dennis, good morning. Dan, the Duke Crew, same to you, my friend. Go Lions. Woo! And good morning to you, too. See, Johnny L., I finally made it here this morning. Well, you know what? Just because you went out of the way to make it here this morning, let's give you a shout out and give you a Sheila. Glad you made it, my friend. Clark, great. Good morning, Duke Crew gang. All right. Who's the Bills guy in the photo? That would be Shaq Lawson. Correct. Yeah. Sorry. I probably should have thought of putting somebody more notable in the photo, but now you know. All right, Rich. Woo! Go Tigers. Good morning, Duke Crew. Let's keep the people of Florida in our thoughts. Yeah, 100%, man. 100% with that. Big Eddie, greetings, salutations at Johnny L. Good to see you here. Hey, real quick, shout out to the Tigers. So that was a game. It was, man. And Jen and I actually went out and watched the game at a local pub or whatever. At least the last 5 innings or so. Watched it, and yeah, when he hit that shot in the top of or was it 2 outs? Top of the 9th, yeah, hit that 3-run jack, man, that was something, man. And then, man, the pitching staff of the Tigers, say what you want, man, but their payroll isn't even $19 million. I mean, I was trying to explain to Jen, just about every team in the Major League Baseball has at least 1 or 2 or 3 guys making that. So what they're doing is insane. All right, Jason, Robert Yankee, be careful over there. My options for favorite uncle are shaky. There you go. Let's see, Eddie, regarding the Lions, I think this is the year we need to say, skip them picks and get whatever we need to get to the Super Bowl. Yeah, and that's where I'm at with things. I think he's leaning that way, Brad Holmes. But, of course, it's got to be a group decision. You know, it'd have to be Spielman, Sheila. It would have to be probably MCDC among some of the other coaches like Aaron Glenn or Ben Johnson, all come together and say, hey, we need to get this thing done, because there is no tomorrow. Use Apollo Creed, terminology here. There's no guarantee that the next season's going to happen. There's no guarantee that this doesn't happen or that doesn't happen. I'd say if I'm Brad Holmes, I'm going for it. I'm going after it. And I'm going to say those late round picks. I know I said this earlier. I'm just going to say, hey, scouting department, work your magic. All right, Robert, Tampa and Sarasota could be devastated by the surge. Not cool. Yeah, it's going to be bad, man. Hey, man, good morning, Dan, the man, and the Duke Crew. Oh, yeah, good morning to you, too. Hookadoo, good morning, Dan, and the Duke Crew. Woo! Man, everybody's wooing it up in here. Hey, man, at JDC, even the woo coffee guy says 35 degrees is chilly this morning. It is. Robert, I am not going anywhere, Jason. I'm too crusty. All right, well, just be careful, Robert, man. Do whatever. I'm sure you already have, but, man, just be safe. Johnny L., that's right, Big Eddie. All right. Hookadoo, Robert Yankee, my aunt and uncle left Tampa yesterday afternoon. I'm glad they're getting out, man. Robert, how about those Tigers? Hey, they're swinging away and keeping going. And I do think, what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. The stud pitcher. I do guess if there's a game 5, he's throwing it. Anyways, Robert, see Mike the Marine Gunny. Howdy, Dan and Duke Crew. Injuries are a concern. Lions have already placed 13 players on the IR, not including NFI Mahogany. Does Holmes pull the trigger by week 9, or does he wait for a key starter injury? I think he's going to make a move. I just think there's too much evidence suggesting he's already this early in the process, making a lot of phone calls, having conversations. So if you've never been a GM before, ever watched the life of a GM before, here's how it works. At least when I was a GM, you're going to constantly, week 1 of the season, week 2 of the season, you're still making calls to teams, even if you're not ready to trade, even if you're not fully thinking about trading, just to keep those conversations going, just to keep the building a relationship with somebody, joking with them about this or that, trying to get an idea for the baseline. What does team A want for player A or whatever? Just so you can have some negotiations, so you're not starting off when the trade deadline comes, when from scratch. You want to have some sort of relationship and already based conversations ready to go. Now, the tough part becomes if it becomes a bidding war. All that stuff goes out the door. Hey, why didn't the Lions get Montez Sweat? I can tell you why. Because Chicago Bears' second-round pick was a high second-round pick. Lions' second-round pick was a low-round second pick. If you're, Washington, which one is better for you? So I know there were people that said, well, we should have got him. The only way to do that is to give up a first-round pick. So, all right, moving on. But you get the idea. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. So what all would we give up for who at Big Eddie? I'm down with Hendricks. Bengals aren't going anywhere. That's $1 million question, man. In my opinion, and it's just my opinion, if it was me, I'd probably say, all right, we'll give you our first. You're giving us your third and fourth or something like that. So, yes, we're going to lose our first-round pick, but we're going to get a third and fourth-round pick or something like that back. Maybe it's a third and a fifth or sixth or something like that. But that would probably be about what I would think, but I could be way wrong. Maybe I'm overvaluing him. All right, Hatman, Robert Yankee, be safe, my friend. Agreed with that. Everybody down in Florida or down that way, thoughts and prayers with you. JDC, Hatman laughing out loud. Tori, good morning, Do Gang. Did we make a trade or are we talking about options for a trade? We're talking about options. There's nothing concrete at this time. My guess is you're going to have to get about another 2 to 3 weeks of losses from the Bengals, among other teams, before they're going to really start looking to ship out. I do think the NFL needs to look in, now that it's a longer season, and pushing the trade deadline back. Gunny, yes to Tigers. Shout out with a 3-run home run at the top of the 9th inning. Woo! Yeah, that was a heck of a blast, man. And you could see when he swung that bat, he connected, that thing was gone. He didn't even have to wait for the cameraman to turn it around and give you the other angle. You knew that thing was out of the park. Robert, I am in Oslo. Flooding should be minimal. I-75 is a parking lot headed north. I don't doubt it, man. Yeah, I don't doubt that at all. I don't know Florida that particularly well, but one of my friends down there who's going to stay and ride it out, he said, yeah, as long as you're, I think he said, don't hold me to this, I think he said, as long as you're east of whatever interstate, you should be fine, but I have no idea. Robert, I may need an emergency delivery of coffee. Yes, we'll get the drone sent out to you. Hatman, could you imagine a World Series and a Super Bowl in the D? Holy moly, that would be crazy great. It would be. And, man, talk about jumpstarting the economy for the greater Metro Detroit area. That it would do. It'd bring in a ton of cash to help just with the governments there trying to do more and more for the city. Moonscar, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law are in Tussville, weighing their options as what to do as well. Time to flee. Yeah, we're running out of time. That thing, I want to say it's due to hit tomorrow afternoon or evening, something like that. I mean, I'd say, but probably people are paying more attention to that timeline than I am. Hey, Coach, I think Dallas has no chance to win Sunday. That puts us at 4 wins. Who would trade with us? It really comes down to what you're after. I know a lot of people are wondering why you would go after a Budda Baker. I've kind of already talked about that, so I won't beat it up again. Defensive end is going to be on everybody's mind. I don't think anything on offense other than maybe, I don't even know. I think we're actually pretty good as far as depth on the offense line. So if you're trading for anything, I guess I'm thinking it's got to be on the defensive side of the ball, and really a linebacker, maybe defensive lineman, edge rusher. That's about all I can think of. But if you guys have thoughts, go ahead and throw them in the comment section. Robert, has a World Series and a Super Bowl ever been won by one city the same year? That I don't know, man. I would have to really kind of look at stuff. Somebody could probably Google that while you guys. I can't do it while on air. It just it wouldn't make it for very good conversations. I'd be too distracted. The non-laughers, greetings, sanitation, stand into crew! Exclamation point! Woo! Exclamation point! I'm seeing a mass destruction of the Cowboys. Both backs should have 100 yards. All-purpose. Tim Patrick gets into the end zone this week. Go Lions! One pride. I hope for Tim Patrick. And talk about a comeback story. And I get it's limited information so far. He hasn't done a ton yet. But I think, man, if he stays healthy, he keeps being productive in this offense. Kudos to this guy, man. He rolled out 2 straight years of, ankle, Achilles, whatever, knee injuries to come back. He's got to be feeling pretty dang good. AJ, good morning, everyone. Woo! And good morning to you, too. Robert, Tussville should be fine. Let's hope so. France, shout out to the Tigers. Can they pull this off? I hope so, man. That would be one heck of a storyline. See, Robert, I'm going to be very upset if my internet goes out and I can't watch the Lions. I would, well, of course, I'm hoping if it's out, it's back by then. But, man, I just hope you're okay down there. France, and I'm glad Brian Branch and Frank Ragnow are back. Yes, 100%. Glad they are back. Donnie Berg, good to see you, my friend. Woo! Go Tigers. Kerry Carpenter goes yard. Woo! Detroit Sports is back. Yes, they are back. And that was one heck of a shot, man. Talk about like an almost storybook ending to a game. Let's see. Stephanie Ugg, looks like people are going to make me work today. Hey, hopefully it all goes well, my friend. Have some fun up there and be safe. JDC getting real in the D. Go Lions. And back at you. See, Hetman, okay, Dan, with this very chilly morning, I need a double woo, please. You want a double woo? I'll give you a double woo. And woo you go. Let's see, Robert. Good morning, Johnny Gaz. Good morning to you as well. Is Johnny? Have I seen Johnny? Maybe I missed it. So happens. All right, Moodscar Blade. We did sign a defensive end to the practice squad. Former Saint Colt Bear, Al Muhammad, and linebacker Cam Gill. Yes, we did. All right, guys, it's about that time to bring forth our special guest of the day. You know him, you love him. He spends all sorts of time staying up, drinking delicious Mountain Dew just to hang out with you. Let's go get it. Anthony. Anthony, how you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm doing good, thanks, Dan. I hope you and the Dew crew are all well. Hope you've had a nice stress-free bye weekend. I know I have, and I'm looking forward to Lions football again, but I needed the break.
Yeah, it's nice to have a break from time to time, but I'm guessing everybody is built up and ready in anticipation for this game. So as you can probably tell from the thumbnail for this video, there's at least some talks, and I don't think it's going to change until the trade deadline passes, about the Lions possibly going for somebody. I've speculated that I've heard that Budda Baker is an option. I think everybody in the fan base would love to get a pass rushing defensive end specialist, whether it's Crosby, whether it's Hendrickson, whether it's somebody else to be named. What are your thoughts? Is this the year the Lions and Brad Holmes just say skip them picks and maybe make a move?
Yeah, I've been saying this for a very long time now. This is, our window is open. And, you have to maintain a balance between having a roster that can compete every year, but then being able to have a roster that can actually go all the way and is not held back by, because you can be held back sometimes by keeping your picks, by building the draft. So we're in sort of a window now where the NFC North is incredibly competitive. Like the Vikings are exceeding all expectations. The Bears looking better. The Packers are looking all right. And, it's not going to be guaranteed that we're going to be back here next year, the year after that, still able to go for this thing. These teams are very competitive. It might be difficult for us. So I think whilst the door is ajar, as it is for us now, you can go for that. We have a good cap situation. Most of our big deals are in their infancy right now, so you can play around for a little bit. You can play around with your picks and still not jeopardize this thing long term either. So I do believe they will. I'm with you. I think they're going to wait a little closer to the deadline. They'll want to give this roster as much chance as possible to, show what it is and as many players to settle their claim as possible. But if there are any outstanding areas, we need somebody when that deadline approaches. They'll start trading for guys. I've no doubt about that.
So if you were the general manager for the day, you were Brad Holmes, you said, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and acquire this person, that person. Are there any positions you're really trying to identify, and who would be on your list to go get?
Oh, I'd be straight in for an edge rusher. Me, I've seen enough now. Davenport's done. We all knew it was going to be an injury crock. Pascal, unfortunately, is not stepping into that role at the minute. Having to put Levi and guys like that out there, so I'd be all in. I've been on the Trey Hendrickson bandwagon since summer. Like, if the Bengals were to have struggled, then which they are, they're 1-4. They're in an incredibly tough conference. It's going to be difficult for them going forward. So, he'd be the one I'd be going for. One, because he's not going to cost the insane amount the likes of Max Crosby would, because he's just going to set you back first round picks for 3 years. Trey Hendrickson is not going to do that. Also, his contract is a lot more bearable at this moment in time for the foreseeable 2 years after this. I mean, he might want a new deal, etc. But it is a flexible deal that you can work with, and it's not going to absolutely skew with everything for our upcoming contract re-signings either. And he's a hell of a damn good player. Like, you know, him and Hutch on the edges, like there'd be very few teams in the league that would be able to deal with that. And I think we have the space and the flexibility to be able to take a second premium edge rusher on. You say you're going to pay Hutch in a year or two from now. So if you do that and, you know, you win your Super Bowl, then you can trade Trey again, etc. You know, you're quite open as to what you can do here. So he's been the one I've wanted to go for since day one. I think we should make a splash. This is our window. We should go all in and go for it at this point. But at the same time, we're still set up nicely going forward. If Brad doesn't want to do that, then I'll be looking a lot like Azeez Ojulari is the one I'd take. He's in the last year of his rookie deal from the Giants. He's not really flashed his full potential in the league yet, but that New York Giants coaching on the DNs, you know, Thibodeau's not turned into the superstar he was meant to. Like, you've seen flashes from Ojulari. He's played really well. He'll cost a lot less, and he'll need to prove it, but could potentially be a great end otherwise. So they're the two I go for. Trey's my big one, and Ojulari will be the backup one if he doesn't want to spend premium. But I'd do it. I think this is the time for us to do it.
Okay. So let's just, for the sake of discussion, say that Brad Holmes makes the calls to both the Giants and Bengals to acquire one of these guys. What do you think the cost of acquisition would be for either one?
I mean, Ojulari, I'm
right?
not sure. Ojulari, I'm not sure. Like, he's in the last year of his rookie deal. I don't think you're paying that much. Maybe like a 5th rounder, a 4th rounder, something like that. I mean, like a day 3 pick potentially at this point. I don't know how they do, but his productivity doesn't allow him extreme, value from this. So he's going to cost a lot less for Trey. I think you're definitely going to part with a 1st rounder and maybe another high one as well, and then you've got the money to deal with, but is worth it. Like, the price you're going to get, it's not going to be anywhere near what Crosby's price is. Right. But for Trey, I'd give up a 1 happily. I'd give up a couple more high picks as well. I think, that's what we need. And like I say, it will give us one of the most dangerous rushing duos for at least the next 2 seasons, which, will be absolutely great for us. We've got a young interior. It'd be a great defensive line. It just absolutely rules. So, yeah, it would be pricey, but I think Brad will do it. Like, people go, Brad doesn't want to give away picks and that, but this is what he did in LA. He likes to deal picks. He likes to get talent in. And the situation in Detroit has not allowed him. He's had to build his roster sensibly, which is great. Like, the way we've seen draft and develop, pay your own. He's had to do that to develop his roster to this point. Now he's at the point where the team's contending and we've got good depth on this team, and we can afford to start dealing picks now. We can afford to start acquiring guys, bringing talent in from the outside as well, because you've got to do a little bit of both. We can't just do this entirely through the draft, right? You've got to get 95% of the way to a Super Bowl, building the young foundation of your team, doing it through the draft, doing it in-house. Then you need to take that little 5-10% step at the end where you go out and you acquire the right talent to get you there. And that's at the situation we're at now. So, yes, it's not Brad's previous MO with this team, but again, situation dictates that he's not really had the chance to do it thus far. Now he does.
I agree with you on all that. I think, that's a good breakdown there. All right, so let's real quick, I guess, move on from potential trades. I still hope the Cardinals lose every game from here on out, man. I hope Budda Baker's on the chopping block, because I think moving him over to Detroit and getting him to basically play your Sam linebacker would be awesome, but is what it is. Let's talk about this weekend's game, Dallas. Big game in the NFC. We all get it. Cowboys got away with something last year. What are your thoughts on this matchup, Dallas versus Detroit, heading into Sunday?
It's a big one for us. I mean, the bye week's been nice, but the entire NFC North won. That now puts us under a bit more pressure. We need to keep up with the Vikings because we've got to go to their place soon. And if we lose to Dallas, and any given Sunday we lose to the Vikings as well, then hell, we're 3-4 games behind them before we know it. And getting that seeding is going to be very difficult because our bye's gone. we do not have another break this season now from playing football. It's going to be a long-ass, old, hard season, and really you want that one seed to give yourself a bit of a rest when the end of the season comes around. So it's a big game. It's like the Seattle game in a way. It's like it's a curse we're trying to banish. When we play Dallas, we seem to get screwed a lot, especially by ref interference as well. But like with the Seahawks, we've always struggled to put them away. It's a very tough team to beat. And we managed to get that one off our back. We've got to go and get the Dallas curse off our back as well, because they've always been a thorn to us, whether it's been them or the refs. But, if you want to go and win a Super Bowl, you've got to go and win these type of games now. Like a couple of years ago when we first played them, everyone just put down Dallas away as an automatic L. Like, oh, no, we're not going to win there. We're going to lose by 10 sort of thing. They are not a good team right now. I'm just going to outright say they are not a good football team. And you need to beat the likes of them to establish yourself as a contender. You've got to keep rolling these guys off now and say there's no break, there's no rest. So this is a very big game for us. Obviously, the world's not going to cave in if we do lose, right? Like that'd just be way too much of an overreaction. But in the grand scheme of things, it would help us a lot if we can go there. And this is another one we can put to the wayside. We get rid of the Seahawks curse, get rid of this thing we've got with the Cowboys, and we move on, and we're full of confidence going into the Minnesota game. So, yeah, I'm a little nervous for it, but at the same time, I've got no fear of this Cowboys team. I'm not going there going, oh, my God, this is going to be we're going to be outmatched. I think we're going to go there. I think we're going to beat the absolute brakes off them. So, yeah, it's an important one.
Is there, when you look at Dallas, obviously their defensive line is going to be a little bit different with Parsons, at least probably out or very limited. Then Lawrence is going to be out. If you're Dallas, what do you have to do to stop the Detroit Lions offense? Because I think everybody's going into this game saying, hey, Lions are going to try to pound the ball on Dallas Cowboys left and right. What can you do if you're Dallas to stop the running game?
Well, you've got to dominate the line of scrimmage. Really, that's what the Bucs did against us. They put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They made it difficult for us to run the ball, and they kind of collapsed it from the inside. That's what you have to do. You have to collapse our game from the inside. If you can stop us running the ball, then it's a lot harder for us to go out there and win games. If you haven't Goff throw it all the time, it is a lot difficult for us to win games. So it's as simple as they've got to win the line of scrimmage on both sides, for that matter. I mean, Dak's throwing a lot of picks at the minute. He's getting a lot of turnovers from Dak, and no one seems to talk about Dak and his interceptions the way they do with like Jared Goff, etc. But they're giving up a lot of pressure on him. They've got a rookie at left tackle, and not a very good one at that, and I think he's hurt at the minute, Tyler Guyton. But they're going to have to hold up against our D-line, which I don't think they're going to do, and they're going to have to try and cave the interior of that defensive line, which I don't think they're going to do. Look at the Seahawks. Seahawks didn't even try to run it down the middle at us. That first half, what was it? Kenneth was 4 rushes for 6 yards, and they didn't even try because they knew they just were going to have no success there against us, and they had to take it outside the tackles and get funky and rely on one of the best running back performances we've seen in years against us, to be quite frank, to get anything going. So it's going to be difficult for them. They're not blessed in the running back department. So you stop that, you get after Dak, you force the turnovers. Our defense is forcing turnovers at a rate of knots. I think we match up incredibly well in this game. Just even on paper, we match up very well.
I'm with you. I think it's a very favorable matchup for the Lions. I think, man, you're going to force Dallas to drop 8 guys in the box, more than likely to stop the running game, which case you're going to start doing, play action pass, which obviously Goff is one of the best quarterbacks in the league at that regard. I think you're going to get a lot of one-on-one matchups with either St. Brown, Laporta, or Jameson Williams, and that's probably where the Lions go for some kill shots. All right, so if you had to give a score prediction for this upcoming Sunday, what is your way too early in the week prediction?
I'd have us win about 30-18, something like that. I think it's going to be quite a dominant one from us. The offense figured it out. Like, the offense needs to carry on doing what it's doing. Like in the last game, they targeted Laporta, Amon-Ra, Jamo, Gibbs, Monty. Like, the ball got spread around all our playmakers. That's what we need to keep doing. We just need to keep targeting different guys, keep teams guessing, because they can't deal with us. when we're slinging it all over the place and we're running it well and we're rotating the running backs, keeping them fresh. I just think we're going to have way too much for them. We'll be able to run it on them, nullify any pass rush that they have if Parsons and Co are well. That's what you do. You take him out of the game, run the ball, take him out of the game, take your shots as and when you need to. And then I just think defensively, I'm not scared. I know CD Lamb's on there, and CD Lamb had a great game against us last year, but like I'm just gonna stick Terry and Arnold to him, or Carlton Davis to him, and just say, look, go and be your physical selves and make this guy. Like I'm not gonna move away from that. I don't care if we give up a few soft DPIs, whatever. Carry on making life hell for these guys. And like he's it. Outside of that, like I say, there's just no run game there for them. And generally, when we keep run games under wrap, we win. And I don't see where their running threat's coming from in this game. So I don't see them scoring much either. Obviously, they're at Jerry Will. They'll get a few in, but probably some garbage time stuff while they're trying to catch up. But I fancy this to be a 2-score win.
I'll go with that. I like the way you're thinking. Yeah, I think we're on the same page with that. So, Anthony, as always, man, I want to thank you for being a part of the show. Thanks for coming on. Thankfully, you don't have to get up that early for this one. But hey, by the way, have you had a Mountain Dew since you came on the show last time and tried one?
I have, yes. I've started trying different flavors and that now. I'm hooked on them. So yeah, well done with that. You've the power of American advertising. You and your Dew Crew stuff. Like I got hooked on Dr. Pepper again because watching all the Fansville adverts, and I've started drinking. I've not had that in like a decade. Now I'm drinking Mountain Dew. You're all a good salesman over there, so. I'll make sure I'll keep bringing one on when I'm on. I forgot to today, but I'll make sure I keep bringing one in future. You've got a new convert.
All right, fair enough. All right, Anthony, why don't you go ahead and give yourself a shout out to everybody where to find you, see your awesome work, and guys, if you haven't checked out Roar of the Lions UK, go ahead and check it out. Anthony and the guys do a real good job breaking all things down.
So as Dan says, you can find us at Roar of the Lions UK. We're a group of Detroit Lions fans from across the pond. If you want to come and check out Lions news, views, all that good stuff from a British perspective, then come find us at Roar of the Lions UK. I'll actually be live later today if anyone wants to chat by. We're doing our college football, but we talk college ball as well. So I've got college football podcast later on today. So hopefully maybe see you there. If not, I shall see you next week. Have a great day, everyone, and to everyone in Florida, stay safe as well. Hope you all get through this hurricane. All right, it's just absolutely rotten what's happening there. So stay safe, everybody.
All right, he is the man, the myth, the legend. He is the Brit with grit. He is Anthony, Roar Lions UK. Go check him out. Give him a subscribe. Give him a thumbs up. We'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one. Cheers, guys. Bye.
All right, guys, we'll get back to the comments section and round out this show. It's been a good one. Moonscar, and now I know, and knowing is half the battle. All balls. Good morning, brother. Moonscar / Hookadoo. Yeah, and Moonscar, just so you know, I think it was late last week. Buddy did hop on the channel. It was like one of my afternoon broadcasts. He just said, he's been working on the yard doing some stuff, but he appears to be okay. So just so you know, paw guy, by the way. All right, Scott, if Raiders keep going down, would Raiders think about putting Crosby on the trade block? I wouldn't be surprised for the right deal. The only thing is, Scott, I think you're going to have to, you would have to get a king's ransom for him, I think, if you're the Raiders, to give him up. Trey Hendrickson makes more sense to me just because I think his contract, don't pull me this, I'm doing it in my head. I want to say his contract's like $9 to $13 million cheaper. So from that standpoint, it's going to be a much more palatable for as far as what you'd have to give up draft capital wise. My guess is you could give up a first rounder and in return maybe get like a 4th and 5th or something like that plus the player. So that seems a little bit more like a Brad Holmes move. I'm personally still hoping out that the Arizona Cardinals fall on their face. Not that you can't go get Hendrickson or some other end as well, but I really would love to see Budda Baker here in Detroit. I just think at that point, man, you are playing a style of defense that it's just going to be incredibly hard. I don't care who you are in the NFL. It's going to be real hard to pass, run, do anything on the Detroit Lions because the flexibility Budda Baker would bring to that defense. All right, back to the comments. Okay, Miles Moonscar. Yep, all balls on D is Anthony. That is correct. A big no on Budda. He just doesn't fit the team. I think he does, man. I think, man, he'd come in and just transform the team. But hey, it's okay. Everybody can have their own opinions. I think it would be fun as heck to see him out there. All right, Dennis. Hey, Ant. Say Moonscar, Hookadoo being a moderator gives me certain privileges. It does. He gets the secret sauce formula to the half diet, half regular Mountain Dew, Circle K endorsed pour. All right, let's see. Moonscar Blade, pretty sure Patriots, Red Sox. Okay, yeah, there you go. Could be as far as two teams that both win Super Bowl and the World Series in the same year. Aaron 8, Roar, good morning. Good morning to you too. Let's see, all balls, several have. Okay. Let's see, Gary, Pittsburgh did it. Yeah, Super Bowl and World Series. We are family. There you go. See, Kurt Steele, I don't think the Lions will make a splash trade with the contracts they have on the horizon. Okay, maybe they don't. Maybe they do not. See, Moons, Manifest My Destiny. Good to see you, man. It's been a hot minute since I've seen you. Question of the day. Which Lion or Lions do you feel have a big day against the Cowboys? I'm going to go with, how about this? I'm going to go with Sam Laporta, Jameson Williams, Gibbs on offense. I think D. Monty will be, he'll have a sound day, same with St. Brown, but not over the top. As far as on the defensive side, you know, what the heck? I'm going to go with Levi Onwuzurike. I'm going to go with him with like 2 sacks, which would be a big day for him, right? And then what? You know, I'm going to throw this out there. I'm going to say Terran Arnold's going to have his first and second interception of the season against the team. So, yeah, the Cowboys, I do think Arnold's play has risen every game. Yes, the penalties are there. They got to get cleaned up. But when I watch the film and just watch his technique and how he's covering people, he looks vastly different than he did against the Rams week 1. He is improving quickly. Craig Hutchinson's contract coming up. Brad continues to make every draft pick count. A few reasons the trade deadline is walking a tightrope for Brad. All right, I'll go with that for Brad. All right, we'll go with all the above, Craig. Good to see you this morning, by the way, my friend. Jesus, I'll see all our beautiful Lions fans invading Cowboys Stadium. I'll be there. Hey, hopefully have a great time there, man. Have a great time, represent, and yeah, cheer on the Lions, man. Hope you can get as close to the team as possible so that they can maybe throw you something up at the stands, a gift or something. Kurt Steele, Ant-Man, it was indeed. See, Moonscar, Kurt Steele, good morning, and agreed 100%. See, Moonscar, 2004 Red Sox and Patriots. There you go. Moonscar Blade, yes, sir. Let's see, he said Kurt Steele. Dominic, good morning from Texas. Let's go Lions, exclamation point. Gets me bragging right down here. It's my time, our time, exclamation point. Superdome, here we come. And hey, go have a good time with it, man. When we win Sunday, go and enjoy it, man. Kurt Steele, live on Boss Up Ball Out at the top of the hour. Go enjoy it. After this show, go check out Kurt Steele and the crew over on the Boss Up Ball Out podcast. Derek, I agree with that. Brett, there you go. Yes, he's a good dude. Anthony's a very good dude. T-Bones Lokes, what do you got? Coach Dan, do you have any concerns about Budda Baker's size at the same position? And if not, why not use Branch? I think you could move them both around, to be honest, if you wanted to. If the Lions really wanted to commit to that type of defense and role, why not? You know, hey, one play, one series, whatever you want to do. Budda Baker up there, Brian Branch back. You know, just make it tougher on opposing offensive coordinators. So as far as concerns with Budda Baker, I don't. With Brian Branch, I'd have to think about that. Just because Budda Baker, he plays with such aggression, veracity, I mean, just energy. And not that Brian Branch doesn't. I want to say Budda Baker's a little bit bigger, but maybe I'm wrong. I want to say he's like 218, 220. Well, let's be fair. A lot of Sam backers are about that size, maybe 7 pounds heavier, but I don't think he's far off. All right, Patrick, coming here late, but greetings and salutations all. Woo! And good morning to you too, Patrick. Good to see you, my friend. Did I say I was late? It happens, man. It happens. Scott, people say Crosby is too difficult to trade for, but his contract can be reworked, and the Raiders could be eating about half his deal in dead money, and he's 27 and under contract 3 more years. You're 100% right, Scott. If Max Crosby wanted to adjust his contract to be more team-friendly to the team acquiring him, yes, he could do that. Yes, the Raiders could say, all right, if you're going to give us that much draft capital, whatever the amount is, I'm not here to speculate on what it is, could they say, you know what, you do that, you give us this and this and this, we'll go ahead and eat, 1/3 of the contract, half the contract, whatever it may be. You look at, what's his name, the quarterback that used to be in Denver, then or Seattle, then to Denver, now in Pittsburgh, Russell Wilson. Yeah, I think the Pittsburgh's only paying him like $1 million a year because Denver had to eat all the contract, basically. Scott, that would be the ultimate message to everyone that is our year and serious about winning the Super Bowl. It would be. Yeah, you go get someone like that. You're going to raise some real eyebrows and get everybody's talking about you for a week or two on media. Fred, good morning. Exclamation point. It's a great day to be a Lion. One pride. Good morning, Fred. Good to see you. Hopefully you're having an outstanding day. Dale, did we build to win now or win long term? Question mark. Making splash move isn't long term, in my opinion. Yeah, I would agree with you in most situations, Dale. I think the only difference is here is if you really feel like, hey, that 1-2 players will get you to the Super Bowl and win you the Super Bowl. Me being a GM, I'd probably be okay with, in this scenario this year, saying I'll give up my first or second round pick. But you know what you're giving me in return? You're giving me your 6th and 7th. Because I have such faith in this scouting department that it may not be the big name guy coming in that everybody wants in the first or second round, but I have enough faith that, hey, we can develop that 6th and 7th round guy into being something for this team. All right, Dennis, hit the like button. Yeah, if you guys can, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We've got a little over almost 600 people watching on all platforms. If you guys can, real quick, half a second of time, hit those buttons. You guys all know, man, it helps the channel out a lot. All right, JDC, getting real in the D. Go Lions, go Tigers, Red Wings, and Pistons. Yeah, if the Pistons get things turned around, man, how crazy of a time is it for Detroit sports? See, David, JMO has no drops. Thanks for improving and working hard. Kid has, man. And I know just a year ago, at the start of the year, when he was on the suspension, there were a lot of people calling him a bust or whatever. I'm thankful that nobody's talking about that anymore. The kid has matured. He's grown up. We all probably need to take a deep breath when a player is drafted. And remember, these guys are 20, 21, maybe some of them are 22 years old. Every once in a while, you get somebody who's 25. But I can only speak from my personal standpoint. When I was that age versus me at 30 or 40, or heck, man, now in my 50s, I've grown up a little bit. I'd like to believe, and I believe most of these guys have too. Southwest, we don't fear any team. We want all the smoke. We'll take it. We'll take it. See, Dennis, Hex, yes, I'll go with that. JDC, Puff, woo, coffee, and Lions Talk Live. Now that's a great start to every morning. David, great time to be a Detroit fan. It is indeed. Hopefully you're enjoying it every second of it. Fred, I agree, Dale. A high caliber player such as Crosby would be detrimental to future seasons. It would close the Super Bowl window much sooner. Brad Holmes is building a team to compete for Super Bowl for many seasons. You could be spot on with that, both of you. Then good thinking there. Hatman, JDC, there we go. David, big cats on the prowl. They are indeed. JDC, smile and thumbs up. Joseph, good morning to our Duke crew brother from across the pond. Yeah, Anthony and Diane. Anthony, he does a real good job of stuff. Go support him. Show him some love, man. Scott, what college player is coming out to Detroit? Could pick late in the first round that could be as good or better as Crosby. So how would that be setting us back? Yeah, everybody's going to have their own thoughts on it. There's no right. There's no wrong. Just go with it. And, hey, see what Brad Holmes does. I do think this is a year he's going to pull the trigger on something just because, again, the last 2 seasons with the Lions pushing, if you remember the 2 seasons ago when they went from 1-6 to 9-8, he did nearly pull the trigger on a couple guys. He just got outbid. Last year, had some conversations. He's been forthright and came out and talked about different teams and different players they talked about acquiring. They just couldn't get both sides on the same page with the deal. This might be the year it happens. Let's see. All balls. Houston is gone. He played like stuff in the few snaps he was in. Yeah, he hasn't played great. And, I know a lot of people message me and say, hey, why don't we trade Houston? The only problem with that is we see he's not performing well. Other teams see he's not performing well. You got to have somebody offer you something before you can trade. I guess you could just trade him for nothing, but I hope James Houston gets it turned around, whatever it may be affecting him. Derek, a little wake and bake. There you go. Dale, Fred, I'd rather win long term, but that's just me. Yeah, everybody's going to have different takes. There's no right or wrong. See, Dennis, Houston is done. Currently it appears so. JDC, Derek Lewis, yep. Let's see, Southwest, I'm not putting no dang rookie on CD. That's Davis' job. Are you kidding me? Yeah, we'll see what Aaron Glenn does. Phil, greetings and salutations. Back at you, my friend. Thanks for all you do for the channel. Fred, Scott, it's more like just simply that. Taking a player like Crosby won't be cheap, both cash and draft. We have seen how Brad Holmes drafts. The cash would take away from other players. Hutch, and they will walk. Yeah, we'll see what shakes out. We will see. Dennis, hey, Phil, Aaron, I can't hear you. I don't know why. Mic's on. This one I know the mic is on. So, so hopefully it's just something that got fixed. Good morning, Mr. Booth. Johnny L. Hey there, Phil. Phil, Dennis. Let's see. Mike the Marine. Thanks, Anthony. Roar Lions UK. There you go. Dimitri, Don Bird, Detroit. What's on the floor, my guy? Okay, Phil. Remember, guys, Dan reads these on air. I do. Here's Johnny. Yes, Phil. See, Fred, Dale, I agree. I'd rather be competitive for many years. Brad Holmes is building a winning franchise for many years and building through the draft. Okay. Shank Shoes, there you go, says, all right, Derek, we need to stop thinking about what we're giving up and think about what we're getting. Oh, that's a good take there. Johnny, a hurricane is about to hit Dallas. I see what you did there. See, Brent, thanks, Anthony. Dimitri, Reddick also played the Sam linebacker, Dan. Thanks for pointing that out. Thank you for that. Yeah, I know he played end and some backer, but I didn't know it was the Sam. So, man, I wonder what it would cost to acquire him. That's my big question, Dimitri. All right, Fred, Derek, you want a Super Bowl now instead of Super Bowl potential for many years? Question mark. All right, hey, don't argue about it, guys. Just wait and see what they do. Wait and see what they do. Johnny, here we come. Tate Main, good morning, everyone. Go Lions. Good morning to you, too, my friend. Hopefully you have an outstanding start to your day. See, almost, all out of here. Go Lions. Hey, go have a great day. Go have a great day, my friend. See, Kim, getting a big name is a big price. It's putting all your money in building the house and no insurance when the storm hits. Fair enough, especially with all the hurricanes going on right now. Derek, I think we can do both, Fred. All right, I like the idea of going for both. Let's see, Southwest, of course, we want a Super Bowl. Now we go, a very young team. Come on now, think, bro. All right, fair enough. Lions Talk Live, good morning. LTL. All right, T-Bone Lokes, Baker in 194 on Google, which is why I brought up his size. Okay, Baker's 194. Thanks for that, man. Thank you for that. I would still do it myself, but wait and see what they do. I mean, if Arizona doesn't lose, it won't matter because they're not going to give them up. All right, a couple more guys, and we're out of here. Kim could have been fake news, but saw something yesterday. Crosby said he's not going anywhere. No, I did see something about him saying that, but I've also seen that happen, and then trades happen. So we'll wait and see. Derek, if Crosby needs more money, he can pawn his next 2 Lions Super Bowl rings. That's a thought. That's a good thought. Southwest, the Lions will be good for a long time. I believe so, too. I don't see us changing anytime soon. Sir Richard got 3 tickets to Tigers Wednesday behind the Tigers dugout. Go Tigers. Good for you, man. Go enjoy it. That's going to be a fun time. See, Craig, Ivy looked good against Milwaukee. Yes, he did. Reality Mike, you're 50. Get out of here. 52, my friend, and you would know. Yeah, childhood friend right there. So, yes, 100%. One funky Crosby, around 30 a year and has very little guarantees left. Raiders won't have eat much. Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah, they won't have to eat too much. See, DM5, I want a total domination of Dallas on Sunday, except for that blown coverage of CD Lamb. We had the game under control. Lions 27, Cowboys 17. I like the way you're thinking. Phil, Dan is well preserved. It's the Mountain Dew, my friends. Mountain Dew. JDC, happy trails. Go Lions victory. Back at you. David, we need a big splash and to extend Hutch, JMO, and others. Yeah, we've got some guys coming up that are going to require a little bit of a new contract. Boat, happy trails. Duke Crew, see you later. See you later, my friend. Southwest Lions and Tigers. Woo! All the above. Mood Scar. Until tomorrow, y'all done. There we go. See, Dr. Troy, go get him. I would. Fred, I'm not arguing. Dan, I just think a big name like Crosby is just too much. No, there's nothing wrong with that, man. Have your thoughts. Nothing wrong with having your own thoughts there, my friend. Just too much. Yeah, I get it, man. And that it might be too much. We'll have to wait and see. See, Ken, greetings, salutations. Dan and Duke Crew made it from Tampa to Tennessee in only 18 hours. Exclamation point. I-75 is slow, going 8 to 18 miles all the way to Georgia. Who would be the best grit fit on the theoretical trading block? It sounds like probably most people are going to say Hendrickson. I still think him, maybe Buda Baker, but Buda Baker's probably a dream and not really much. We'll have to see what happens with Arizona's season. All right, Fred, have a great day, everyone. One Pride, same to you, Fred. Brent, happy trails, One Pride. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're making that push for 8,100, and we're like 20 subs or whatever it is away. Also, if you would be so kind, reach on down and hit that thumbs up button, the like button. As you guys know, it's free of charge, helps the channel out a lot. Other than that, if there's breaking news later today, I'll get it over to you as quick as possible. Take care. Have a great day. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. We'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.
For your comment.